In the heart of Nubia, Africa, where the golden grass swayed in the wind and the bush stretched endlessly into the horizon, there was an ancient land known for its supernatural happenings. Legends told of spirits that roamed the bush, restless souls that still had business in the world of the living. Among them, none were as feared or revered as Duppy Long Booby Suzan, the spirit who was said to have control over both the earth and the air. Duppy Suzan was no ordinary Duppy. She was an ancient one, born from the land itself. Her long, dangling breasts, which gave her the name Long Booby, were said to be the source of her immense power. They dragged behind her like twin serpents, coiling and uncoiling as she moved, their touch said to bring both healing and curses. Many a brave warrior had ventured into the bush to confront Duppy Suzan, seeking her aid in matters of life and death, but few returned. Those who did came back changed, their eyes hollow, their voices barely whispers, for she was not one to be trifled with. At one moonlit night, three young siblings, Nuru, Binta, and Kofi, from the nearby village of Timbu, sought Duppy Suzan's help. Their father had fallen gravely ill, struck by a mysterious sickness that no healer could cure. The village elder warned them, "You are playing with fire. Duppy Suzan does not grant favors lightly. Beware, for the price she asks may be more than you can pay." But the love for their father outweighed the fear in their hearts. Armed with nothing but courage and the blessings of their ancestors, the three set off into the bush. As they journeyed deeper into the wilderness, the air grew thick with mystery. Shadows danced between the trees, and the wind seemed to whisper ancient songs. Honest. Suddenly, they felt a presence behind them, a cold, eerie sensation that chilled them to the bone. It was Bush Duppy, the spirit of the wilderness, a trickster known for leading travelers astray. Bush Duppy, though mischievous, was not malevolent. He took joy in confusing wanderers, but would not harm them, unless, of course, they were unkind to the spirits.
Where do you three think you're going?
Came a voice, high-pitched and mocking. The bush itself seemed to speak as branches bent toward the children.
We seek Duppy Suzan, Nuru replied, standing tall. Our father is dying, only she can save him.
Bush Duppy let out a high-pitched laugh.
Duppy Suzan, she's not one for charity. But if you insist, I'll guide you to her, if you can solve my riddle.
The children agreed, and Bush Duppy's voice rang out from the trees.
What is as light as a feather, but no man can hold for long?
Kofi, the youngest, thought for a moment before answering.
Breath.
Bush Duppy grinned, impressed.
Clever child, follow me.
The bush spirit led them through winding paths, twisting vines, and dense thickets until they reached a clearing. In the center stood a massive baobab tree, its roots deep in the earth, its branches stretching toward the sky. There, sitting at the base of the tree, was Duppy Long Booby Suzan herself. Her eyes gleamed in the moonlight, her long silken hair flowing like a waterfall, and her breasts trailed on the ground like roots of the ancient tree.
You dare to come before me? Do you not know the cost of seeking my help?
Nulu, the eldest, stepped forward.
We know, Great Spirit, our father is dying. We have no choice but to seek your mercy.
Duppy Suzan's eyes narrowed, studying the three siblings.
Very well, I will save your father, but in return one of you must stay with me forever.
The siblings gasped. This was no small price to pay, but before they could protest, Binta, the middle child, stepped forward.
I will stay.
She said, her voice steady. Though fear flickered in her eyes, Duppy Suzan smiled, a wicked grin that sent shivers through the night air.
A brave soul indeed. Very well. Your father shall live, and you, child, will be mine.
But just as Suzan extended her hand to claim Binta, the ground beneath them trembled. From the shadows emerged the ancestors, spirits of the land drawn by the bravery of the children. Their ghostly forms surrounded the clearing, and one of them, a tall, regal figure, stepped forward.
This child's sacrifice is noble, but we cannot allow such injustice. You, Duppy Suzan, may be powerful, but you forget the balance of life and death. These children have shown respect to the spirits. Release the girl, and take no soul this night.
For the first time in centuries, Duppy Suzan hesitated. The ancestors were not to be crossed lightly. After a long moment, she withdrew her hand.
Very well. The girl is free. But remember this. I am always watching. When the time comes, the debt will be paid, one way or another.
With a wave of her hand, the siblings found themselves back at the edge of the bush, the air fresh and clear. They rushed home to find their father awake, his strength returning, the sickness gone. The village celebrated the children's bravery, and the legend of their encounter with Duppy Long Booby Suzan and the bush Duppy spread far and wide. Yet, even in their joy, the family never forgot the words of the ancient spirit. They knew that one day the debt would come due. And so, in the heart of Africa, the legend of Duppy Suzan and the spirits of the bush lived on, a tale of bravery, sacrifice, and the delicate balance between the living and the dead.